Okay, I'm at Lake Red Rock, Iowa. Just launching from the Elk Rock ramp near Highway 14. I'm going to try a little navigation exercise today, trying to get some location by triangulation using some known landmarks. And I've just launched, but my first landmark is already in view. I'm looking across the distance, across my bow, up there at the Cordova Tower, which is on the north shore of Lake Red Rock in Cordova Park. I also have that marked on my map. Here is this pink dot. So I need to have a landmark on the land and the same landmark on my map to make this work. I have that, so I'm going to go ahead and get my bearing using my compass on the actual landscape. Now I don't need to worry about declination. Right now, at this time in Iowa, the declination is very close to zero, and so I really don't need to worry about that. So I am going to just go ahead and use an uncorrected compass and get my bearing on the Cordova Tower. So I'm aiming my arrows at the tower right now, out there in the distance, about a mile across the lake. And I'm going to then use the red needle here and move my red orienting arrow underneath it so they align. And right about there, putting red needle in the red shed. And reading off my bearing, that's about 22 degrees from where I stand right now. So to go over to the map, I then want to shoot a back bearing from the tower, and the way to do that simply is to anchor the edge of the compass on the landmark on the map, and then swing the compass until these meridian lines, these red lines, come into alignment with these black meridian lines on the map. Making sure, of course, that north on the compass is also pointing towards north on the map. So I'm going to hold this corner down and swing this around until these red meridian lines overlap, or at least are parallel to the meridian lines, which I've done here. So I've got that. So now I can follow this back bearing back to my location, which is right here at the canoe ramp for the Elk Rock launch. I'm going to paddle on down the shoreline along the south shore, which is one line of reference. I know I'm along the south shore somewhere, and so that's one line of intersection, and the other one would be the compass bearing that I shoot to a landmark, such as the one I just did. And where those two intersect is my position. So I'm just going to paddle down the lake ways, and we'll take another shot here in a few minutes. Okay, coming up on my second location here to take a bearing. It's a big bay off to my right, with a point of land here between the bay and the main lake off to my left. Now I actually know where I am, so I don't really need to calculate where I am, but I'm going just to use this as an opportunity to get a bearing and check it against a known location to make sure it's working as expected. Okay, so I've arrived at this point, and I'm going to get my bow pointed at the Cordova Tower again. I'm still going to use the Cordova Tower a second time, and there it is, kind of off the point of my bow right now. If I can just stabilize here, and I'll take my compass and get my bearing of the landmark in the field on the actual landscape. So I line that up with the arrows point towards my target. I then rotate the dial, the bezel, so that the red shed goes beneath the red needle right in the shed, like that. Read off my location, which is about 348 degrees. So that's my forward bearing to the tower. So once again, I'm going to put my compass on the corner on the target, which is the tower, and then rotate the entire compass to get my back bearing by bringing the meridian lines on the compass into alignment with the meridian lines on the map. And so until they're about parallel now, right about there. Pull the line back to intersect with the south shore, which was my other line of reference. And sure enough, I'm right at the tip of this bay where I thought it was, right at the tip of that bay, right there where it meets the main lake. Looking across, almost due north, not quite due north, at the Cordova Tower. Beautiful day for paddling along the shore, glassy water, late afternoon on the 5th of December. Great day to be out. Paddle along the Elk Rock Cliffs. Paddle up a little bit farther, and we'll take a third bearing. Okay, we're coming up on another landmark here along my south shore. This is the Sea Cave, well known among Red Rock kayakers. I'm going to pass through it, and when I get to the other side, I'll take another bearing off the north shore to get a fix on my position. So here we go through the Sea Cave. Okay, so let's come out the Sea Cave. Come on and get oriented toward the tower again. The tower's getting further behind us each time I do one of these. I'm going to rotate the kayak around a little farther to see it now. Okay, I'm not sure it shows up on the camera, but just off the bow of my kayak, I'm looking again at the Cordova Tower. So I'm going to get a bearing off of my compass off of that. Okay, so once again, get my compass out. I'm going to aim it, put the direction of travel arrow pointed towards the target, which is the tower way out there. I'm going to twist the dial, twist the bezel until the red is in the shed, red needle becomes aligned with the red orienting arrow. Here we go. So now I've got an angle of 331 degrees. Okay, so now let's find 331 on the map. There's the tower. I'm somewhere along the south shore. My last fix is back here. I'm probably somewhere up along this big bluff face here. I'm going to find out exactly where. So I'll take my compass, line it up, rotate the compass until the meridian lines on the compass match up with meridian lines on the map. Make sure I haven't drifted my position here. Whoops, let's go back this way a little bit. And there we go. So I'm going to follow this line back, and boom. Sure enough, I'm just around the corner of this cliff here. This is where the Sea Cave is. Just on the east side of this Elk Rock bluff, where it makes a bend away from northeast towards southeast. Okay, I'm coming into another bay here as I'm heading more or less eastward, kind of gently southeastward. Another bay to come into on my right, so it bends off to the south. And I'll use this bay is another place to check my position with the compass. So let me get turned around, see what landmarks I can find. Alright. Well, I can see the tower. It's getting kind of far away at this point. And it's kind of got an angle that's somewhat parallel to the shoreline I'm on, so it's going to be a little more difficult to use it as a reference at this point. So I'm going to use a different landmark now. So if I turn the kayak to the east a little bit, again, I'm not sure it's going to show up on the video, but now I can see the Cordova Park boat ramp straight across the lake from where my bow is. I'll get a bearing on that and use that on my as a mapping reference on my map. Okay, so to get my fourth bearing here, it's on the Cordova boat ramp, which is across the lake across my bow here. It's kind of a whoops, over here. There it is. Kind of a driveway coming down to the lake, which I can find on my map as well as here in the field. So I'm going to get my compass, get that direction, travel arrows pointed at the boat ramp, twist the bezel until the red shed moves under the red needle. Just check myself here again. Yep. And now that area, that site, that boat ramp is about 16 degrees from my position. So let's find 16 degrees on the map. Okay, so first I gotta find a boat ramp, which is right there. You see the driveway comes down. Here's my point of reference. Get my compass. Gotta rotate the compass now until the meridian lines line up, having got a fix off of the field compass. Okay, so now these meridian lines are lined up, and I'm going to shoot back to my position, which is right by this bay right here where I'm at. Yep. So using a new reference line puts me right here.